Jai Hind, dear students. Welcome again to economics class. Dear students, in last period we have completed second chapter, that was sectors of the Indian economy, and today we are going to start a new chapter, and the name of the chapter is money and credit. Dear students, it is very important chapter, and I hope everyone is having book. So please open this chapter, money and credit, and be with me for next 30 minutes. So let's start this chapter. So dear students, if we talk about the use of money, so you know everyone is using money. There are many transactions where money is involved. So the use of money spends a very large part of our everyday life. Just look around you and you would easily be able to identify many transactions involving money in any single day. Even if you purchase something, money is involved. If you purchase any goods, money is involved. If you purchase any service, money is involved. So there are several transactions involving money you can see every day. In many of these transactions, goods are being bought and sold with the use of money. People purchase and sell goods where money is used. In some of these transactions, services are being exchanged with money. So goods and services are exchanged with money. For some, there might not be any actual transfer of money taking place now, but a promise to pay money later. So dear students, for purchasing and selling of goods and services, money is involved. So, have you ever wondered why transactions are made in money? Have you ever? And the reason is simple. A person holding money can easily exchange it for any commodity, for any service that he or she might want. It is very simple reason. If you are having money, you can easily exchange it for any commodity you want, for any service you want. Thus, everyone prefers to receive payments in money and then exchange the money for things that they want. So you can easily understand that because money can easily exchange for any commodity or for any service, everyone prefers to receive payments in money, and then they also exchange the money for different things that they want. So dear students, I am giving you one example. Take the case of a shoe manufacturer. Take the case of a shoe manufacturer. He wants to sell shoes in the market and buy wheat. So what the shoe manufacturer will do? So the shoe manufacturer will first exchange shoes that he has produced for money. So he will exchange his shoes for money and then exchange the money for wheat. Means first he will sell his shoes and will take money and the same money he will exchange for wheat. Now, dear students, imagine a situation where money is not there. Imagine how much more difficult it would be if the shoe manufacturer had to directly exchange shoes for wheat without the use of money. Just try to imagine this situation. Suppose if you are a shoe manufacturer and it will be very easy to exchange shoes for money and then to exchange money for wheat. But suppose you have to exchange your shoes directly to wheat without use of money, how much it will be difficult. You would have to look for a wheat growing farmer who not only wants to sell wheat but also wants to buy the shoes in exchange. How tough is this? If you want to exchange your shoes directly with wheat, you would have to look for a wheat growing farmer who not only wants to sell wheat but also wants to buy the shoes in exchange. Then only this exchange or this transaction will be completed. So, dear students, when both parties, listen it carefully, when both parties have to agree to sell and buy each other commodities, that is known as double coincidence of wants. Listen it carefully. I am talking about double coincidence of wants. So, dear students, I am repeating one more time. When both parties, seller and buyer, when both parties have to agree to sell and buy each other commodities, that is double coincidence of wants. Means what a person desires to sell is exactly what the other wishes to buy. Do you know about barter system? Barter system, it was a system where goods are directly exchanged without the use of money. I am repeating one more time. What is barter system? So barter system, look, this is barter system. Barter system. What is it? So dear students, barter system is a system where goods are directly exchanged without the use of money. And double coincidence of wants is an essential feature of barter system. Means this double coincidence of wants is an essential feature of barter system. And barter system where goods are exchanged, directly exchanged without use of money. And it was the transaction system in ancient India. So is it clear to everyone? When both parties are agreed to sell and buy each other commodities without use of money, that is double coincidence of wants. And in a barter system, goods are directly exchanged without the use of money. And double coincidence of wants is an essential feature of barter system. Clear? Okay. Then In contrast, in an economy where money is in use, money by providing the crucial intermediate state means eliminates the need for double coincidence of wants. What money does in this case? It eliminates double coincidence of wants. And the example is shoe manufacturer. It is no longer necessary for the shoe manufacturer to look for a farmer who will buy his shoes and at the same time sell him wheat. All he has to do is find a buyer for his shoes only. And that is the work of money. Once he has exchanged his shoes for money, he can purchase wheat or any other commodity in the market. So since money acts as an intermediate in the exchange process, I am repeating one more time. Since money acts as an intermediate in the exchange of process, that's why money is also called a medium of exchange. Because you know what I said, that money eliminates this feature of barter system. There is no need of double coincidence of want if money is there. So dear students, you can say easily that because money acts as an intermediate between transactions, that's why it is known as a medium of exchange. Clear to everyone? If anyone will ask that why money is called a medium of exchange, because money acts as an intermediate in the exchange processes. That's why it is a medium of exchange. Clear? Okay. Now, modern forms of money. So dear students, we have seen that money is something that can act as a medium of exchange. In last topic, I explained the same. So, but before the introduction of coins, a variety of objects was used as money. I am talking about ancient time, before the introduction of coins. For example, since the very early ages, Indians used grains and cattle as money. After that came the use of metallic coins. Metallic coins like gold, silver, copper coins. A phase which continued well into the last century, when people were using metallic coins. So dear students, now we are using currency. So modern forms of money include currency. Currency means paper notes and coins. We use paper notes and coins today. So unlike the things that were used as money earlier, when money was used earlier, it was grain, it was cattle, it was metallic coins. Metallic coins like gold coins, silver coins, copper coins. So unlike the things that were used as money earlier, modern currency is not made of precious metal. Currency which we use today, that is not made of precious metal like gold, silver and copper. And unlike grain and cattle, they are neither of everyday use. So you can say the modern currency is without any use of its own. Or we can say that modern currency has not its own value. I am giving you one example, that before 1 or 2 years, demonetization was done by the PM of India. So all the currency, all the paper notes of 500 and 1000 became illegal. So dear students, tell me one thing. Can you get a single pie for those currencies now? For those paper notes now? No. Because modern currency has not its own value. But if the coins or if the currency is of precious metal, suppose this is the time when we are using gold coins, silver coins, and suppose if demonetization is done in India, okay, that cannot be used as currency, but then also we will get the value of gold, we will get the value of silver, we will get the value of copper, and even we can get the value of cattle or grains. But today's currency, we cannot get anything if demonetization is done again. So I want to say that modern forms of money or modern forms currency which we are using is without any use of its own. Then the question is, when it is not having its own value, it is not having its own use, then why it is accepted as a medium of exchange? Listen it very carefully. Why money is accepted as a medium of exchange? So dear students, it is accepted as a medium of exchange because the currency is authorized by the government of the country. I am repeating, it is accepted as a medium of exchange because the currency is authorized by the government of the country, and that's why everyone is accepting money as a medium of exchange. So dear students, in India, the Reserve Bank of India, you are familiar with this bank? So in India, the Reserve Bank of India issues currency notes on behalf of the central government. So Reserve Bank of India, or commonly known as RBI, RBI is responsible for issuing currency notes on behalf of the central government. And you know, as per Indian law, no other individual or organization is allowed to issue currency than Reserve Bank of India. Moreover, the law legalizes the use of rupee as a medium of payment. If law is legalizing the use of rupees as a medium of payment, it means that no one can refuse in settling transactions in India in money. No one can refuse. Even no individual in India can legally refuse a payment made in rupees. No one can refuse. It is legalized. Hence, the rupee is widely accepted as a medium of exchange. It is clear, students? Why rupee is accepted as a medium of exchange? Because it is authorized by the government, and no one can refuse payment made in rupees. That's why it is widely accepted in our country or in any other country. Then, now dear students, the other form in which people hold money is as deposits with banks. Many people, they deposit their money in banks. So at a point of time, people need only some currency for their day-to-day needs. For their daily needs, they need some money only. For instance, for example, workers who receive their salaries at the end of each month, they have extra cash at the beginning of the month. Clear? Workers who receive their salaries at the end of each month, they have extra cash at the beginning of the month. So, what do people do with these extra cash? What they do with these extra cash? So they deposit it with the banks by opening a bank account in their name. Means if you want to deposit money in the bank, your bank account should be there. So they deposit it with the banks by opening a bank account in their name. And you know, banks accept the deposits and also pay an interest rate on the deposits. What you deposit in the bank gives interest rate on that deposit. In this way, people's money is safe with the banks and even they get an interest also. It is beneficial, na? Your money is safe and even you get extra money, interest on your deposits with the bank. People also have the provision to withdraw the money as and when they require. Means, suppose you are having a bank account and money is already deposited in that. So dear students, at the time of need, you can withdraw the money from the bank. It depends upon your requirement. If you need, you can withdraw. So since the deposits in the bank accounts can be withdrawn on demand, means you can withdraw money on your demand. That's why these deposits are also known as demand deposits. I am repeating it, deposits with bank are also called demand deposits because it can be withdrawn on demand. You can withdraw the money on your requirement, on your demand. That's why this is also known as demand deposits. Clear everyone? Okay. Then, you know, demand deposits offer another interesting facility. Which facility? It is this facility which lends it the essential characteristics of money, that of a medium of exchange. And what is that? You would have heard of payments being made by checks instead of cash. You would have heard many times that payment is done, but cash is not involved. Means payments being made by checks. Have you ever heard about checks? Okay. So for payment through check, the payer who has an account with the bank makes out a check for a specific amount. Understand? For payment through check, the payer who pay the money, who has an account with the bank, makes out a check for a specific amount. Now the question is, what is check? So dear students, a check is a paper instructing the bank to pay a specific amount from the person's account to the person in whose name the check has been made. I am repeating it one more time, that a check is a paper instructing the bank to pay a specific amount from the person's account to the person in whose name the check has been made. So dear students, you can see that easily without use of cash, payments can be made. So thus we see that demand deposits share the essential features of money. The facility of checks against demand deposits makes it possible to directly settle payments without the use of cash. And why I am saying demand deposits? Because if you are having deposits in bank in your account, then only you can get a check and you can issue this for any other transactions. That's why I am saying that the facility of checks against demand deposits makes it possible to directly settle payments without use of cash. Since demand deposits are accepted widely as a means of payment along with currency, they constitute money in the modern economy. Demand deposits are also constitute as money in the modern economy. You must remember the role that the banks play here. Try to understand what the role is of bank in this transaction, in this case. But for the banks, there would be no demand deposits and no payments by checks against these deposits. Suppose, for example, suppose you have issued a check for the name of mine. So, if I am having that check, I can get money. But for the banks, there would be no demand deposits and no payments by checks against these deposits. Bank cannot use checks against these deposits. So the modern forms of money, currency and deposits are closely linked to the working of the modern banking system. I am repeating it one more time. The modern forms of money like currency and deposits are closely linked to the working of modern banking system. So dear students, this was all about today's period. So we discussed money as a medium of exchange. We discussed about double coincidence of bonds and barter system. Then we discussed about modern forms of currency, and even we discussed about ancient forms of currency. We also discussed about demand deposits, about banks' role in issuing checks. So dear students, it is my humble request to each and everyone, please read these topics carefully. So that's all for today. We will meet in next class. Till then, thank you and have a nice day.